Hello guys, welcome back, and in today's video we're gonna touch on an important subject in my opinion. It's a question raised on multiple times and recently on my stream on twitch.tv/Jakazin, feel free to follow. We've been talking about it a lot. I've had a lot of questions asked to me, like, should I pull this character at P1, P2? Oh, I'm saving for P2X. Oh, I'm saving for P2Y, right? So this sparked like a concept, a question in my mind, a thought in my mind that was saying, like, which is the title of this video, are portraits becoming more important in Reverse 1999? The short answer is yes. Another question, do you want to still care? Should you care about the portraits getting more important? The answer is no. If you're free to play, you will be able to clear everything you want by just playing the game correctly, understanding the synergies and the buffs, debuffs, and whatever, everything that you have in your power, all the cards that you have. You need to read the cards to understand what they do, right? It's a metaphor. It's not literal, but so to go more in depth into this argument, let's go check a bunch of characters, some standard ones, because I believe the standard ones didn't have any major kit enhancements in their portraits, and with time we kind of started having those. So let's check. Eternity, for example, doesn't have anything. Eternity just has higher stats, higher multiply, which is perfectly understandable. If you're a whale, you want to get more damage. Yeah, there you go. Boom, more damage, right? Centurion, same thing. Boom, more damage, right? Feel free to read if you don't believe me. Lilia, same, more damage. Even though you get some, yeah, okay, you get better damage on your ult. Oh, maybe you accidentally lose 50-50 to one of these standard characters. Now you have a little more power. Now you have a little more reality damage. Now you have a little more additional effect on Victorious General, right? So after 1.1 onward, now we started to see a little bit of more value. For example, on P2, Melania, you get 1 stack of Thief Masters, which is pretty good. Do you need it? No. But it is still pretty good, and this is the first time we see something like this in the kit, I believe. Now, maybe I'm missing something, but that's not the point. I'm not saying that Melania is the first one. It might not be the first one, nor I care. I'm saying something else. Okay, let me cook a little bit. Pickles doesn't really gain anything, right? So Pickles is kind of chilling. You get a little 10% more on the ult here. You get like a clarified topic status, more damage when you're inside clarified topic, and then you get like more mental damage on the ult, more damage on the cards, whatever. Pickles is chilling. Now the first one that actually gets a little more meat on the portraits is Tooth Fairy, because the Tooth Fairy P2 is basically increasing the crit resist and critical death that you get from eating or using the 5 baby teeth from I1. On P2 you get the round, instead of being 1, becomes 2 rounds, which makes it linger even more. So on the round 2, when you don't have 5 teeth to consume, you will still have the bonus there. So it lingers 1 more round, which is really good for uptime, right? Besides that, though, it doesn't really do much. And do you need this? Absolutely not, because like it helps you. Yes. Do you need it? No. I don't have it. I don't have any problem with Tooth Fairy. I'm pretty satisfied with my P0, I3, R10, R9, R10 soon, Tooth Fairy. So I don't really miss any of these the portraits. Same with Melania. I love my Melania. My Melania is amazing. I really have a lot of fun using Melania. I really like how she works. And do I worry about not having Thief Master? No, because Thief Master just makes you get the bonus on the double card here, the cards here. So if you know what you're doing, you don't have to have a double kick enhanced, right? You can have 1 kick enhanced and then the other one is not. Whatever. Doesn't really change the curse of action. I still win, right? So as long as I can, or you as a free-to-play can ensure to win where it matters, for example, clearing Utu, clearing Limbo full stars, then you don't really need any portraits, in my opinion. Pickles doesn't have anything. Tooth Fairy has the P1, P2. Jessica has the P2 as well, but Jessica is another redundant one. This is just if you're not playing Jessica alone, which I'm assuming you're not, because you shouldn't, unless there is some weird situation on your account and you fail Sotheby, whatever, I don't care. One of those. At that point, It doesn't really matter. At that point, P2 gets a little more value for you if you're using Jessica alone. Otherwise, this becomes a little more redundant because like Jessica's main attack that uses poison, which is White Blankie, caps at 3 stacks of poison. So if you have 5 or 4, 5, 6 stacks of poison there, because your poison lasts for a little bit longer, now it doesn't really matter for the Blankie, but it matters just for like damage output, right? For the poison itself. But if you don't, you're not missing much because this is just 1 round increase. So the poison is still gonna drop. So it's this is not gonna skyrocket your poison application stacks from like 3, let's say, to 7. No, it's gonna be from 3 to 4 for 1 turn, and then the 1 falls off. Right? So this is not much of a problem anyway. Moving on, Shamane has the P1 that gives you more Nature Blessing. This helps giving him more flow on the Nature Blessing acquisition, because you start at 3, max is 5 because he gives you Moxie back. Max is more, but you only care about 5, right? Up to 5 on the refund, but you can get more than 5 Nature Blessing. You're just gonna use 5 for the Moxie refund because you only have 5 Moxie, right, for the ult. So once you do 5 Nature Blessing, you do the ult, you get refunded 5 Moxie, and then you can do the ult again next turn thanks to this. And this makes it easier because you start with 3, and then at I3, I believe it should be 2, but I didn't test it myself. It might be turn 3, but it could be turn 2. You get 1 stack of Nature Blessing, which makes you go to 4, and now you do 1 kick level 2, and you are chilling with maximum amount of Nature Blessing immediately. Like maybe turn 2, maybe turn 3, you have double ult. The rest is just increases on his multipliers. Now, the multiplier on P2 and P5 are really, really insane, especially P5, because it becomes crit rate on primary targets and AoE, but on primary target you get increased target crit rate increased by 100%, and P2 is 60%, but the good thing is that he converts crit rate excess crit rate into crit damage. So having this on 100% on Shamane, critting on a guy, even though it's an AoE, the crit rate becomes 100%, so everything else, which is going to probably be a lot less, gets added to crit damage. So you can probably get to 100% critical rate, 200 plus 250, 230% critical damage. So this is a lot of damage, but it's P5 and we don't really care about this, right? I'm talking about kit enhancement, and this is the only one that he gets on P1. Then we have Black Dwarf, another P1 gainer here. The rest, it's still good, but it's understandable that you get more power, but it's just modifier, more moons, more stuff like that. I'm not going to explain the kit to you because we don't need to do that now. We'll make a video about her when she comes out or before she comes out. So the only thing here important is the planet increase. It's planned from 3 to 4, which is kind of big. It gives you more planet to cycle around, which is basically 1 full planet, meaning 1 full whatever the buff you got, right? Because it depends which planet you're using. You get different buffs, either penetration, leech rate, or skill power. It's still 12%. It's not that big of a deal of P0. So you're not getting too much power. You are getting power, but you're not getting too much power. So even if at P0, you're still using the character, she still does a lot of damage. But getting P1 is to be considered, right? So I can see the pattern here, right? Because you would consider a P1 because it's really, really close. Some people would just get lucky and get her as well. P1, get 2 Black Dwarf with a GG, right? So are portraits becoming more important? Yes. Do you still care? Not necessarily, right? Depends on if you are a spender or not, or if you're free to play. If you're free to play, you don't care. Now, the biggest offender, in my opinion, is still not a problem, but the thing for 37 and the start of Eureka. After they added the Eureka system on the characters. Not everybody has it. For now, only 37, 6, and Ezra have Eureka. So 37 is the biggest offender because at P3 you get 3 layers and 3 stacks of Eureka instead of 2, and at P5 you get 4 stacks of Eureka on the ult. So the way 37 works, you need 5 Eureka, and once you do 5, you do 1 extra attack that you really want to do because it's an AoE Genesis damage that can crit, so you can do your ult, you get the 2 stacks, and then you want to do 3 attacks like this if you're alone with her there, 3 attacks of triangulation, and then you have the ult and you do the follow-up attack. Otherwise, if you have P3, especially P4, P5, you do 1 ult and you do 1 triangulation, and then now you are already casting your extra attack, which is pretty big change in terms of pacing. Instead of having it on turn 3, you will have it on turn 6 or something, right? Turn 5, right? And you need to be AP hungry. So this one changes your kit in a pretty big way. But even then, you could work around this if you have follow-up attackers, extra attackers with her. It says on the Insight 1, when an ally does an extra attack, she gets 1 Eureka as well. So if you pair her with Lilia and or Babel, right? They're the only 2 characters in the game that do extra attacks. And that way she will get a lot of Eureka, so even P0 works wonders, and you shouldn't worry about that. If you don't have at least one of those 2 characters, you don't have any characters, now it becomes a little bit of a problem. But just because we don't have the characters that do extra attack yet, or at least too many. We don't have that many, right? We only have 2. So with time and with new patches and with new characters, we get more characters that maybe get extra attack that will indirectly buff 37. 6 is kind of similar, but besides P2, everything else is just way more damage on his ult and his ult scaling. He gets to up to 1400% mental damage on the ult if you have P5. Otherwise, it's still 1000% at P0. And I think for the character that he is and the role that he has, I think it does plenty, right? Because for him being like a pure buffer and a pure debuffer, it does a little bit of damage on the lows and the restriction, but having an ult dealing a lot of damage is very good for a buffer. So I think even a P0 is kind of a must buy in my opinion. Spathodea is kind of chilling, doesn't really follow this trend, kind of interrupts the trend a little bit because she only gets power-ups on their kits. You can feel free to read. Now, and Ulu doesn't really have anything. She has like a power buff on P5, but if you don't have it, they're like, okay, whatever. You just need Ulu for the I3, in my opinion, to pair with Spathodea. If you don't, Spathodea is going to be a little more. It's going to need a little more time to prepare before doing the unleashing the full power ult, in my opinion, because of the 15 stacks of burn, which I talked about. I don't really like, but you know that. But yeah, to wrap it up, there's not really a big deal in my opinion, but yes, the portraits are becoming more important. Now, the only thing is if you're free to play, you don't really care about any of these, okay? I feel like as a free to play, you should focus on getting more characters that cover different niches and every afflatus and give you more ways to play the game, more gameplay, more teams that form, right? So I feel like you should focus on your account variety before power on one single character, like always, right? If you're a spender or if you're a whale, then you should maybe keep an eye on the powers. If you get some big power up that's really close, not necessarily P5, but maybe it's like P1 or P2, it becomes a little more understandable if you want to pick it up. And we are getting a little more power on the portraits. I don't think this changes anything. I don't think this really changes the game fundamentally. You just get like a better character, but you can still clear everything even with 5 stars and 4 stars sometimes. So I don't think it's a big of a deal personally, but yes, we are seeing a little bit of an increase in power on the portraits. Okay, so let me know what you think about it. Video is over. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you for watching and see you next time.